Hey guys, Chris here, and today we're doing a crash course in hybrid picking. Check it out. Alright, so first things first, what even is hybrid picking? Well, you got fingerstyle when you only use your fingers. You've got regular picking when you use a pick. Hybrid picking just kind of meets in the middle. Funny story about that. I was in Guitar Center one day with a buddy of mine, and you pick up guitars. Usually they're guitars you can't afford, and then you play them for about 3 hours and then you get kicked out. Well, this particular day I picked up a guitar and I realized I didn't have a pick. How am I going to play without a pick? So I turn to my buddy and I say, "Hey buddy, I didn't got a pick." And he looked me in the eyeballs and he said, "God gave you 10 of them, what do you need another one for?" So that being said, we are using a pick today because, Now there are benefits to using fingerstyle. There are benefits to using only a pick. You got to kind of use the tools that you have at your disposal. And that's what this is another tool that you can use when you need it. So real quick, I just want to talk about pick positioning, finger positioning, and then we'll talk about kind of what fingers to use and how to kind of pluck. Okay, so hopefully that's in focus there. See, I've got my pick there, just kind of standard in position like you would normally have it, in between your thumb and pointer finger. And then what I'm going to do is hold on to that, and I'm going to keep these 3 fingers loose. And I'm going to set that on my strings, basically with my pick on the top string that I'm going to be playing, so the furthest north, and then these 3 fingers are going to be following it on the next 3 strings. So I've got my pick right here. I'm going to put that on my E string just for demonstration. Then my middle finger is going to rest on my A string, ring finger on my D, and then pinky on my G. So I've got them all kind of hovering there. You don't want to have your fingers spread out too far because it gets hard to hit those notes quick. Same with having a closed fist. You don't want to have that because then you have to reach out and kind of scorpion tail. It's easier to just have them kind of rest in there. So the way that we're going to be playing these is pretty simple. You're going to pick like normal on the string closest to you, and then you're kind of going to be using the corners of your fingers there. I don't know if you can see that corner right there. Kind of using the corners of your fingers to hook those strings. You don't want to dig way in there because you'll get caught. You don't want to just rub on top. There's a little bit of a Goldilocks effect, but you're basically just going to be catching it with a little bit of skin on your fingertip, and it'll sound a note. Now coincidentally, if you want to practice, all you have to do is put your fingers in position like this, and you just pick like a random finger pattern. And then you just repeat that. You'll get the feeling for how hard you need to pluck for it to sound. And you'll also kind of work on that muscle memory. Okay, so now that we got our finger positioning, let's talk about what we can do with this. The first way I like to use it is in arpeggio type deal. For example, let's do a G sus chord. So another way I like to use this method is kind of like in a country or a bluegrass kind of setting. I like to use a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs, and I like to use a lot of passing tones. So in that introduction song, I had a section where it went like this. Basically what that was a B to A, and then I just did hammer-on from the 2nd to the flat 3rd to the 3rd, from the 5th to the flat 6th to the 6th. And then I hit that octave right there. So a whole lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Some of the notes aren't in key necessarily, but if you're going for a more percussive sound, that's not necessarily a problem. In fact, you don't even notice that the notes are out of key because they go by so quick, Also, when I'm playing like that, I like to get a lot of plucky notes, so like the... really emphasize that pop, kind of like you're playing slap guitar. So how would I recommend practicing this technique? The way that I personally learned the best is when I took songs that I already knew and riffs that I was familiar with, and I just played hybrid picking whenever I could in those riffs. Another way that I really like to practice, at least with warm-ups, is by doing runs up the strings. So 3 strings at a time, or 4 if you want to get that pinky working. And you just take a simple hammer-on, so like 5 to 6, and you just work it up the strings in groups of 3. So and then you can work down from there. But this gets you kind of hammering on and timing your fingers with your picking hand, and just kind of keeping the timing consistent is the main thing. You want to be able to pick at the right time and pluck at the right time. You can also do string skipping, so like if I just take another hammer-on shape, helps you get comfortable jumping across the strings. Now, one last thing I want to talk about. Now, like I said, there's a lot of possibilities. These are the ways that I like to utilize this method. A lot of people find their own way when they're playing guitar, and they find what works for them, and maybe I'm an odd one out, you know. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe for more in the future, and as always, thank you for watching. Here's a quick trick if you really want to impress people when you're playing like this. Trick number 1, never play the right note. Number 2, only use your middle finger. Number 3, I mean, how else could you sound that country?